The reason why you might be watching this video is because God is getting ready to position you that you might end up with some property. And you'll be glad that you watched this video. What does Miss Mary always say? Eat the meat throughout the bones. Hi guys, it's me, Miss Mary, coming in for a landing. Just coming in. Remember I told you guys that I was going to do a series, well, a little mini series on talking about being an investor and being remember I told you that there was many facets to Miss Mary. Been around the block a few times, so there's a lot of things that I have experienced. Some things I have and some things I haven't, but on this channel I'm willing to share everything that well, not everything, but some things that I've experienced that I feel that will help you. Okay, in this episode we're going to talk about being an investor. I'm going to give you the dirty, raw truth about being an investor. I'm not coming over here with a three-piece suit like some of those guys do. I'm telling you, you need to own property. If you want to be wealthy, all you got to do is just get yourself a property. Buy one, buy two, buy three. And those people that come on there and tell you, all you got to do is buy it. Then get your property manager in and they'll run it. And you can be on the beach of Maui. And the money is mailbox money. Well, Miss Mary is coming in for a landing to let you know that that's a bunch of crap. That's a bunch of crap. Do you hear me? And when I say it's a bunch of crap, I'm talking to smaller investors like myself, like people that I know around me. I know other people. I have family members. Some of my children are big time investors. I know family members that are investors. So we're more like the mom pop thing. I do know some people who have up to, we call them doors. Like if it's an apartment and you have, let's say you have two apartments and they have five apartments each. We'll say you have 10 doors. We call them doors. So let me just clarify and let you know what my experience is. First of all, I'm not a realtor. Let me just classify my experience. Let me let you know I'm not a realtor. We are an investor. I've been an investor for over 16 years. We've owned, I've never owned commercial property, but we've owned rentals and I've owned apartment complexes. I've had Airbnb. I've done, they call it corporate rental. As a matter of fact, I did that to my own home when we went to North Carolina for a year. I leased my house out for 1 year. Was the money good? Absolutely. Absolutely. So I'm going to come on here because I want to just be transparent. Now, I know Miss Mary talks about a lot of things. I know on this channel, I'll talk about cooking, making your own deodorant, making your own things. So what is the name of Miss Mary's channel? Before you click off of here and say, she's talking about property, I ain't got nothing to do with that. Miss Mary ain't showing us how to make deodorant, how to make mouthwash. It's called what? Doing life. So what are we doing? We're doing life. And I need you to stay connected here. You might not own property now, but you might decide to own some property in a few years from now, or you might marry somebody who has investment property, or your mother or somebody in your family could die and you could inherit some property. Don't never say where you are right now because you don't know where you're going to be. And the reason why you might be watching this video is because God is getting ready to position you that you might end up with some property. And you'll be glad that you watched this video. What does Miss Mary always say? Eat the meat throughout the bones. Now, if I'm watching you and you're talking about painting and I don't paint, I'm not going to click off of here because I don't paint. I'm going to say, hey, what can I get from that? I'm not painting nothing, Miss Mary, but she just might say something that I can pick up or that I can take and that I can apply. Stay with me. Just stay with me. And if you don't want to watch me, just put me in your ear. Put me in your earbud. You know what I mean? Just listen. Just hang with me. Let me do this thing. Let me help those people who want to do that. Let me share this part of my life with those people who are interested in. Maybe you're not interested in that, but I guarantee if you just hang in there, I might say something that might not necessarily be about investing and being a realtor, but it might be something else that'll help you. Okay? Even if you're getting ready to buy a house, this could help you. So come on back in. Come on back in. Don't disconnect from me. Hang in here with me. Give me a few times to talk about this subject. Let Miss Mary get this out of her, get it out of her. What do they say? Get it from under, not out from under her skin, but get it out of her crawl. Let me just share this for those. Because you know what? What is Miss Mary famous slogan? That she wants to what? Die empty. I can't die empty if I don't tell you about investing. I can't die empty. I have to share it with you. And I need you to listen to me. So the one thing I want to say is it's not as easy as they make it out to be. And when I say that, I'm not one of those people. I don't like that phrase that says easier said than done. That's not me. I'm not comparing this to that. I'm not saying that it's not easy to get property. I'm not saying that it's not worth it to get property. I'm trying to come on here and give you the dirty, raw truth about owning property. First of all, let's talk about it. Okay, I've been an investor for 16 years, still have some property. I've bought, I've sold, I bought, I've sold, and I still own. Okay, and in the meantime, I was working a full-time job. What happened? Let me give you a little backstory on how my husband and I came into being investors. My husband was getting ready to retire from General Motors. And when he was getting ready to retire, we had some money. And because we had some money and we wanted to invest it and be wise with our money. And this is something you can pick up. If you ever come into any type of money, let's be wise with it. When you come into your income tax, when you come into maybe somebody passed away and they left you something, you got to be wise with your money. You got to make wise decisions with your money. So anyway, my husband was getting ready to retire and he was going to come into some, he was going to get a large sum of money. And so we decided that we would be wise with the money. We didn't run out and buy new cars, even though I did get a car because my husband retired and General Motors gave him a voucher towards a brand new car. Okay. But we didn't take that money and do that. So we wanted to be wise with the money and stretch it. We had seen people around us that had the opportunity to do the same thing. And women went out and bought dresses and clothes and boots and shoes and cars and went on very, very expensive vacations. They did all kind of things, but that was their choice to do with their money. But we wanted to be wise with ours. And I'm not saying that some people wasn't wise with theirs, but I'm just talking about me and mine, right? So we decided to be wise with our money, so we bought property. And that just kind of got us snowballing about how to be investors. We never took a class. The only class that I ever took was I took the Rich Dad Poor Dad class, and I didn't even pay for that. A friend of mine had paid for her and her husband to go. He wasn't able to go. She called me and said, "Hey, you want to go to this class with me?" "Oh, sure, I'll go." And I went. Miss Mary loved to learn. I'm a hands-on learner, not so much sitting down reading books, whereas I am getting into Audible, but I am a hands-on learner. Okay, but anyway, so I went to the class, took the class, had a great time, learned a lot. The lady there talked about investing. That's where it bit me. That's where the investment bug bit me. And my husband was coming up on retirement. So anyway, to make a long story short, God just lined people up in my life. Where our property is, we have never ever lived there in our life. But one of my coworkers was there, and I was telling her I was on MLS looking at houses, trying to find property and stuff. And I said, "Oh, I see this house for this amount, and I see this house, and I see this house. What do you think?" And she told me the good locations because she was from the area. So she told me what would be a good area to invest in. Stay away from this, stay away from that, and then invest in that. God put her there in my life at that time because this woman, I took what she said because I didn't live there and I didn't have nothing else to go by. I just went by what she said. And I said, "Would you live there?" "Yeah, I would live here. And I would live in this town and I would live in this town. I wouldn't live in that town. I wouldn't live in that town." So I took her at her word because she had lived there in that surrounding area for years, grew up there and knew everything about it. So, first of all, God ordained it that we would do that. He put somebody in my life that told me that. I took that class not knowing that it was going to lead to us being an investor. Well, in 2009, the housing market crashed. Do you remember that? When people lost their houses due to foreclosures and all kinds of things, just craziness, you know. Houses was cheaper than cars. Did you hear me? Houses was cheaper than cars. Whole houses. We're not talking about a half a house. We're not talking about a she shed, which there's nothing wrong with a she shed. But we're not talking about garages. We're not talking about a shed. We're talking about whole houses, 3 bedrooms, garages, 2 bed. I mean, full bathrooms. One of mine have 2 full bathrooms. 2-car garage with a shed, brand new roof on it, brand new siding on it. I can tell that the people had lost it because they had fixed it up. All of them had, well, all except for one had nice windows and stuff. So you could tell that these people obviously had borrowed against the home and then they lost the home. Well, and then we were in position to buy, my husband and I. That's the story of that. So anyway, you're going to see on here where the property that I showed you where the tenant moved out. So I want to go into that, but I'm trying to pace myself and trying to figure out how do I want to ease into it. I told you my story, a little bit of our backstory, how we got into the property. Now, so then I've always had a passion for Section 8 because I was a Section 8 person. When I got divorced from my first husband with my 4 children and I relocated to a new town, I was on Section 8. So the passion for Section 8 has always been there. And I'm going to stop it right there and come back.